Welcome back to the Xuan character review. We will close the inner circle with the last one of the martial masters included, and one of my personal favorites, Wuxie. Wuxie is the other kung fu fighter of the game, that actually fights with a more Shaolin style, taken from the Wuxia heroes of the legendary China. This is one kind of a character I actually dreamed of, because one day I thought what the KOF series needed was a Chinese martial artist that was modern and cool, but with a heavy Chinese vibe. My own idea had some points in common with Wuxie. In matters of design, Wuxie is a probably too perfect combination. His design is very cool and very special. Just like I said, not the kind of the like we usually see in Japanese games like KOF, but something that feels at the same time fresh and classic. His clothes present strong Chinese motifs, like those logos on his back and his tattoos, his baggy pants, and the portable fan he carries with him and uses for some of his attacks. But they are combined with the Eastern modern elements like the rubber gauntlets, check the nice texture, and tennis shoes. His hair is in the middle point between brown and blonde, and he even goes to sport a more contemporary Beckham-like haircut, but with the adding of a short ponytail, very reminding of classic Chinese heroes. The color palette chosen for Wuxie is more than fitting for the character. At the same time, traditional like old Chinese robes, but lively like the current Eastern fashion. Every line in this design, either round or rectangular, taken from the Eastern aesthetics, balances and complements with the others, creating a round design in Feng Shui and all. So I would say Wuxie is an example of a perfect mix between Chinese traditional motifs and Western modern elements. Now let's go with this character background. According to the story, Wuxie is a Chinese-American young man that runs a theater. He is said to be 100% Chinese blood, but from a family that has lived in America for generations. As you can see, his double nationality is something that complements perfectly his design. Wuxie knows how to make his moves in high society, being a sort of a charming guy, more like a socialite, sort of handsome and flirty. That way, one could say he could be a hypocrite politician, a silver-tongued liar, or a very superficial person. Any of those. But in fact, his story begins with the tournament. He wants to be closer to his Asian roots, so he begins to train in Chinese martial arts to represent China in the fighting circuit. In my opinion, this makes him more authentic and likable, as he might be successful in America, but he has this motivation of honoring his true roots. Still, he retains a great charm from his Chinese persona, including poses, quotes, and patterns of speech, all of them very traditional of the Chinese manners. His voice, as you may guess, it's a very nice,
在下百里無邪，多多指教。
a little flirty, very cheerful, and energetic during the fight. But never losing a pint of joy and charm. And look at his sprite, he's always smiling. All of this makes the character highlight between the other fighters, as well as show off his talents. He ends up being one of the most attractive characters in the roster. The kind of person can get anything from anyone with a smile. And now, going with the gameplay, Wuxie's fighting style is badass, with lots of moves and tricks. The main complaint is that his normals and some of his command moves seem to be too much like the ones of Jun and Yang from Street Fighter 3, but I try to not care too much about it. His specials, on the other hand, take inspiration from many other fighters as well as original elements. For example, he attacks with a fan, like Lee Rekka from The Last Blade, and he is able to jump in the air like Junfei from Samurai Shodown. But you could argue there are common elements to legendary Wuxia Chinese characters. And then we have kicks. and flying kicks, and descending kicks, and sweeping kicks, and triple kicks, and kicks so badass they can cancel into water kicks, and super combos that barrage the opponent with lots of kicks, then kicks that throws flaming fans to the opponent. And then suddenly you can start thinking he's just too much powerful for this game. But in the end he isn't. He is very flashy and able to put a lot of pressure on opponents, but the recovery times are his worst enemy, so you must be careful when using him and don't abuse his spamming. As for the sprite and in-game graphics, Wuxie's animations are great and beautiful to watch, some of them with very unique touches, and I could say he's one of the best done characters in the whole roster. In fact, his style has everything to be able to feature in any KOF or Street Fighter game, and I'd love to see him up there along with other great designs. So after all this, I have not much more to say about Wuxie, only to remind you he's a triumph in design because of his combination of influences, his more than charming personality, and you can do nothing but respect his flashy fighting style. He is also very well done in the game graphics and even the audio to transmit you all of his charisma. So I have nothing but praise for him, and hands down he is easily one of my favorite characters of the game, and I hope yours too. And with this great example of how to represent a cool martial art in a fighting game, we close the inner circle phase. So what's coming for the next wave of fighters? Stay tuned for the next phase of the Xuan character reviews, and thanks for watching.
Winner!